Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network channel on YouTube. I'm your host, Mr. Prime Real Estate, Ric Davis.
And I'm your host, the Texas Real Estate King, LarryWBrooks.
Every week, the King and I will provide you exclusive access to our network of lenders, investors, and real estate professionals from both the commercial and residential real estate sectors.
Now, are you millionaire minded? Or maybe you're a millionaire in the making. Make sure that you subscribe so you can get connected to the network. And always remember, the Prime Real Estate Network, where millionaires are in the making.
Create wealth for generations.
What's up, Prime Real Estate Network listeners? It's your man, LarryWBrooks, a.k.a. the Texas Real Estate King. Hey, when you get a moment, go ahead and go over to shoplwb.com. You can see the Pure Hustle merchandise that we had over there, some of our newer items that we have in stock, and of course, I got all the books that I've authored. I'd love for your support. You have a great day.
Good day. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network Live. I'm your host, Ric Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I invite you to do so at Prime Real Estate Ric. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially in our lovely city of Houston, you can reach me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Ric. As always, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you this week on the show. We have a really exciting show planned for you all, and I want to give my first shout out to everybody that's checking out the live stream on YouTube and Facebook. Man, if you have a question for today's guest, enter it in the comments section, and you never know, man, your question may very well be answered on today's show. Want to get a huge shout out to the team over at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. If you're ever in the city of Houston, you can stop by the Brooks and Davis Education and Training Center at 2600 South Loop West, Suite 310 in Houston. Step in. You can get any of your real estate questions answered by a very intelligent and experienced professional that's there on our office 5 days a week. Man, I want to take some time to introduce my co-host. He is not only a highly successful real estate broker, but he is a multi-time author, serial entrepreneur, and the proud proprietor of the Pure Hustle clothing brand. I want to thank him so much for sitting in with us this week like he does every week on the Prime Real Estate Network Live. And I'd like to introduce to the audience, the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks. How are you?
And we're back. What's going on, man? Hey. I have no complaints at all, Rick. You know, we're in here another week, man. One of the things I tell you about what we do, man, we are consistent, man. For 5 + 6 years, I think at this point of just being consistent. So with that being said, I want to tell everybody that's out there that's hearing my voice, either you listening to this streaming or maybe you're checking us out on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you tap in and let's try to see if we can get this video to 1,000 likes, and we're just excited to be back here in front of you, man.
Hey, look, man, every week, one of the things we do when we start the show is we try to give the audience a little bit about what's going on in the life of the host. Yeah. Now, this is spring break in the city of Houston, state of Texas. So what is the Texas Real Estate King doing during this spring break this year, 2025?
Man, I am not doing anything at this very moment. My youngster, he actually goes on spring break next week, but this week I've been spending time actually trying to schedule what it's going to look like. We got about 3 college tours that we want to go on. So, and in between going on the college tours, of course, he's still training for state, which takes place here before the end of the month. So I'm just trying to balance out how to the best way that I can, how to take care of these activities. And just, man, so that's what mine look like. That's kind of what mine.
Make sure you tell young Larry, man, no matter how many college tours he go to, don't forget about that love that he get in Nacogdoches, man, for homecoming and all that, man, because the SFA Lumberjacks still representing, we still holding strong.
Yeah. And
he still can pop up down there and get it in with us if that's where he want to take his future, brother. So
hey, man, it's funny because, if SFA had a powerlifting program, man, that would have been number one. Because outside of the schools that offer powerlifting as a sport, SFA is number one on this list, man. And I can't blame him, right? He's been going there since he was one. I mean, right. You know what I mean? So
the boy know his way up and down North Street for sure.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, look, once again, congratulations to the young homie, man. I hope these college visits I hope you get a lot from them. You know, you had a chance to go on visits before you chose your school. I went on visits before I chose SFA. And one of the cool things about going on those trips, you get an idea how it is on different campuses, the campus life, the energy of the students. So, you know, sometimes, you know, when we go on these trips, we tend to be too cool for school.
Yeah.
Tell young Larry that, hey, he can take notes. That's cool.
Yeah.
Take some pictures, ask some questions.
Yeah.
You know,
Good.
because
I was going to ask you. You know, I'm glad you shared that, because I was going to ask you, you know, being someone that, you know, did take an opportunity, take a closer look at the school. As we go on these tours, what are we looking for? I mean, you know, I'm about 30 years removed from the time that I actually did it. So, you know, I'm tapping into the wisdom, you know, as I can.
I know. We're going to tell LB3, first thing we want to know is the living situation. Take me to the dorm. I got to see. Then I need to see the cafeteria. I need to see the eating situation.
Yeah.
See, when you get there, Larry, you know how it is. They're going to show you the bookstore. They're going to show you the library. They may even show you, you know, the weightlifting, the exercise facilities, the sports activities. But you're going to spend your time in that bed, and you're going to be in that cafeteria trying to eat food, man. So I want to see it first. And then, you know, if you do see some students on campus who just happen to be lingering and wandering around, you know, it's always going to be somebody on campus, man. Step out. Ask them how they like it. Ask them where they're from.
Yeah. Because,
you know, a lot of times, especially with those college visits, you'll be surprised how many Houstonians may be going to that school. Yeah. Or it might be people who went to his high school who was just older than him, who may be on the yard. So all those guys that bind can make those decisions a little bit easier, especially when you're trying to separate, you know, 2, 3, 4 schools who all kind of like are up on the same level.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Okay, good, man. Thank you for sharing, brother. Thank you for sharing.
No doubt about it. You know, I want to see my man get it going, man. I want to see him get it going. It's good watching him transition and elevate to that next level, man. You know, today's episode, and Larry, I want to congratulate you because you talked about our consistency. This is episode 299. So now that we're episode 299, man, I'm really excited because today's guest is somebody I'm really excited to interview. I was really excited when you told us that the gentleman had committed to sitting in with us. So could you talk to our audience a little bit about this week's guest, how you guys were first introduced, and how we were able to gain this commitment to sit in on the show this week?
Yes, indeed, man. So, you know, on the Prime Real Estate Network, we've had several different alumni that have been on the show that have participated in the TV show Ready to Love. And I actually first became aware of today's guest because I followed his process on there, watched his genuineness on that show, and then found him on social media and seen that exact same personality. I believe he was doing a live one night, and I clicked on him like, oh yeah, man, this is the type of guy that I can see myself following, watching what's going on. And then what he does is he specializes in something that I enjoy doing, which is eating. So, you know,
yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And, you know, sometimes things come across and when you see it, you're thinking fine dining, but then a comfortability of being able to have it placed into your own living room, man. So one of the things that I really enjoyed is just following him. We've had a few conversations online as well. So to have him in front of our platform today, to have him to join as a future Prime Real Estate alumni with so many other people that have came up the same way that he has in that path, I'm excited about it, man. So I thank him so much for being gracious enough to be a part of what we got going on today.
Hey, look, man, without any further ado, man, I want to introduce this week's guest. This fine gentleman is not only one of the foremost culinary experts in the city of Houston. He's a businessman, an entrepreneur, and a star of the hit reality show, Ready to Love Season 4. Once again, man, I'm sure you can tell me and Larry super stoked to have him on. Yeah. I'd like to introduce to the audience and introduce Chef Donnell. How are you doing, brother, man?
I'm doing well, gents. How y'all doing?
We getting it going. That's it. Yeah. Chef, man, first thing first, man, Larry and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for sitting in, man. This is an interview that has been at long last eagerly anticipated on both of our ends, man. Thank you so much. We know how it is on Thursdays. So first thing first, Chef, for the members of our audience who are being introduced to you for the first time, can you talk a little bit about yourself, your company, and how long you've been in the culinary arts?
Okay, well, my name is, of course, Dedrick Donnell, but, you know, most people call me Chef or Chef Fresh or however they want to do it, you know. So, Yeah, I was on a reality show, reality TV. I've done a couple of commercials, did some culinary production for TV shows like Top Chef, Bar Rescue, a couple of those shows. So I've done a couple of things, it's just healthy eating is so important to me. So that's where I travel into this whole situation. That's my main focus now. And also, I've been in business for 7 years. I've been quietly in business for 7 years, and that's not even purposely done. That's purposefully done, but not purposely done.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So, and I allow God to move in my favor on how I do things and how I move. So thank y'all for having me.
No, Chef, I appreciate you for just illustrating for our audience your experience and running down some of the things that you've done that's made your resume as impressive as it is. I know sometimes when you get labeled a celebrity chef, especially someone like yourself who's so giving and so humble and a man of the people, sometimes it can make the rank and file, us regular 9-to-5ers, us Houstonians feel like working with someone like you may not necessarily be as attainable as we would like it to be. Okay. Could you talk, Chef, about your business and how you bring those fresh products, that best food to all families and provide everyone with an opportunity to not only enjoy your cuisine, but to be able to share it with their family on a regular basis?
Yeah, most definitely. So one thing I like to tell people is I understand that price matters, but the fact of the matter is we all have to eat. And so do you want to pay the grocery store a little more by investing in your health, or do you want to pay the doctor? You know what I'm saying? The money for the visits, the money for the chemicals, because I'm not gonna call them, medicine is chemicals. Medicines can help you heal, but not chemicals. So you're putting all these chemicals in your body that you got to pay for, and you got to constantly pay for them. You constantly it's funny when you turn on the TV and you have these commercials that come on, and now they so catchy now. You know what I'm saying? If I say Sky Rizzy, y'all know what Sky Rizzy is, And it's funny, they always got cool names and everything. Right. And cool music with them. But then at the end, the commercial says, well, may cause, bleeding of the heart, or, may cause cancer, or and I'm like, wait, so you telling me I got eczema right now, but if I take this medication or this, whatever you want to call it, I may end up getting cancer? Like, how does that weigh out? So, yes, some healthy food is more expensive. Yes, it is. And that's done on purpose because they want you to eat the stuff that's inside. But if you learn how to maneuver around that, buy things that are on sale, and I'm talking about on the outside of the supermarket. Like, stay on the outside of the supermarket. I know y'all probably heard this all the time. Stay on the outside of the supermarket. Don't be on the inside of the supermarket. If you need to freeze something, you can buy fresh green beans and you can prepare them, and then you can put them in the sealing bag and freeze them. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have one of those sealers, then you can take, let's say you got the Ziploc bag, fill your sink up with water, and you push the Ziploc bag down, and what it actually does is makes a suction. And so now it's in there. So all the air is out. And that's just science. Then you zip it up. Now you put it in the freezer, and you don't have to worry about freezer burn and things like that. So it's little tricks like that. You know what I'm saying? And nowadays, in this day and time with social media and things like that, TikTok and all these things like that, you can learn so much from doing those types of things. It's just all about preparation. I mean, really.
No, I appreciate your transparency, Chef, because one of the things that Larry and I discuss sometimes on the show is we like to talk a little bit and reflect on our upbringing with our
Okay.
audience. We talk about how it was when we were growing up versus how things are now. And as we both evolved as business people, traveled, seen the world, we've come to realize that as far as food choices, we weren't presented with healthy choices from the outset due to neighborhoods we may have lived in, the zip codes that we were raised in. So for those people who may be living in urban areas like Larry and I were raised in, how can they educate themselves? Like, what was your path, Chef? How did you get the insight into food prep, of where to find the best produce? Is there any advice that you could give to a young person who has an interest in the culinary arts that may be in one of those more underprivileged backgrounds where they may not have those kind of choices?
Okay, so my background comes from a long time ago, like I'm 51 now. So this goes back to probably when I was about 5 or 6 and living with my mom in LA. Now I'm originally from Louisiana and I grew up in Louisiana, but during the time we did do some moving and things like that, you know, and I lived with my mom in LA. And so she used to take me to like different farmers markets, you know. Then actually where we lived at, we had like, so we lived in San Fernando Valley before it became really, you know, rich area, but we had avocado trees and also olive trees right in the backyard, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I like grew up around all that stuff. So, you know, she didn't allow me to eat sugar. The only sweetener I could have was honey. So it's a ongoing family joke. And it's crazy because I have 3 younger sisters, so they know nothing about it, but because they know the joke, they always say it. And I just be like, y'all weren't even there. Like, like I'm 11 years older than the next one under me. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So I'm like, why do you know about it? But I used to walk around and someone, you know, because back then people could offer people candy and it was cool, you know, but they would offer me a piece of candy. And my first question was, is it sweetened with sugar or honey? Yeah. You know, and they would be like, oh, this is sugar. And I'd be like, oh, can't have it, player. You know what I'm saying? My mom said, I cannot have that.
You were well trained, Chef. Yes, you were well trained.
Exactly. You know?
And you know, it's so funny that you say that, man. I once had some friends that I met in high school that never had sweetened Kool-Aid. Can you imagine drinking Kool-Aid and it wasn't sweet? And so when they first had sweetened Kool-Aid, they were like, "Oh my!" Like, this was, bro, they just had the bitter taste of Kool-Aid. It was not sweetened at all. So the first time,
the purpose.
Man,
that's wild.
Yeah,
that's wild. No, I'm gonna tell you though, Chef. This is why, like I mentioned a couple of times, man, it's really great to have you on the show because, you know, in your title right there, everybody can see you're the founder of Fresh Cuisine Inc. Could you just talk to our audience about Fresh Cuisine Inc.? What was your why for founding that company? What type of products and services do you provide to the audience? Because I want to give everybody an opportunity to not only follow your movement, but to also become loyal customers of Fresh Cuisine Inc. The work that you're doing, sir, is something that I think is invaluable.
Okay, so my why behind it, I was married, and my wife at the time, she went on a show called The Biggest Loser. And she didn't make it onto the show only because, you know, shows always throw little caveats into situations and things like that. And now that I go back and I actually know how it works, I'm like, oh, they set her up for real, right? So she had just had knee surgery, but they decided the challenge that they were going to have her do was a stair-stepping challenge. So you just had knee surgery, but they want you to have a stair-stepping challenge. So anyway, she did well enough to be an at-home contestant. So while she was at home, I started noticing like, hey, how we gonna do this? You know what I'm saying? Because I want you to win. I want you to kill it, you know? And so I was like, all right, let me start doing my research on trying to figure out how to make healthy food. But we always say that when we see people eat healthy food, you know, you see the bodybuilders, they boiling chicken. No one wants to eat boiled chicken. Like, why? Like, I still don't understand it, because I understand the salt intake part of it, but the flavor though, can we get some flavor? Like, you still use seasoning. Seasonings don't have calories in it, and it doesn't do anything adversely to your body. So I still don't understand the boiling of the chicken. I just don't get. But hey, you might have some bodybuilder on here that might show me something different. But I'm so. To make a long story short, I decided, hey, let me see how I can do this. And so I start incorporating different things. So instead of using, you know, cream, I would use coconut milk in certain things. Instead of using white potatoes with everything, I started learning how to manipulate cauliflower. So I make like a cauliflower mash, and it's got coconut milk in it. But if you mix the coconut milk with the garlic, it gives it, and a little bit of lemon, it gives it a cheesy flavor. So, you know what I'm saying? So learning how to manipulate different, you know, flavors together, I start seeing how to do that. And then I was like, okay, I'm seeing all these trainers, they're showing their clients how to work out, but their clients aren't losing weight. And it's because they're failing at the table.
Yeah, that food is probably the most important thing.
Food is probably about like 90% of the whole situation. It's what you eat. If you put the right amount of food and the right foods into your system, you're going to lose weight. Your body is going to correct itself. Our bodies are very smart, and they know how to correct themselves as long as you give it the right, you know what I'm saying, fuel.
Right fuel, yep.
Exactly. And so I start learning all that, and I was like, okay, now that I know all this, why don't I go to school?
Mm-hmm.
I had people tell me, well, you already know how to cook. You don't need to go to school. I was like, it's cool, but I'm a rule breaker, right? So, but I'm telling you, hey, I'm just 100% like, if you see me on the show, you know I'm 100% legit on everything. There's nothing lies about me. So my whole thing is, because I know that I'm a rule breaker, how can you break rules if you don't know the rules?
Facts. That's the truth. Yeah. Yeah.
If you know the rules, then you can start breaking them, because now you know how to manipulate it where you still in line.
That's right.
And so I went to school. And now as I'm in school, all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I know how to do this already, because I'm from Louisiana and I'm going to a French-based school. It's a win-win situation. So I got instructors like, how do you know how to do this? And I'm like, I'm from Louisiana. Like, oh, okay, you know, on to the next subject for you, because we already know you know how to do these things.
Yeah, you got that part down.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm like, okay, I know how to break the rules. Now let me see how I can make food like just really go to the next level as far as flavor, but you still not missing it. You know, now, of course, there's going to be certain things. It's hard to make healthy macaroni and cheese. I get that. You can have that, but you don't have to have that every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, yams. You don't have to add sugar to yams. Yams come with sugar inside of them. We just don't cook them long enough, or we boil them. And when you boil them, you're cooking all the sugars out of them. Or if you take a yam and you put it in aluminum foil and you put it in the oven, when you take it out, it's liquid in there. I was that person that tastes the liquid, because I was like, what is this liquid? Because when I first put it in, it wasn't no liquid. I tasted it was sweet. I was like, oh, this is the sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Now you take that sugar, you take that liquid and you put it back in a pot and kind of cook it down a little bit. It becomes a little thicker. Now it's very sweet. You add it back to your yams, you got sweet yams, add some cinnamon to it, and it's very sweet. I don't understand putting sugar on yams. Just saying, it's just certain things that we do that we really don't have to do. We just have to, you know what I'm saying, do a little more research and just look into things. If you can drive, if you're in an area where there's no supermarkets around and things like that, I always tell people, and my mom used to do this to me, we would drive to those areas that had those supermarkets, but we would drive to nice areas.
Yeah.
Just like if you want some nicer quality stuff for your home, you go to the nice areas to go to Home Goods, because the nice areas got nicer stuff. And it's still the same price, but it's just nicer things. They do the same thing with food. If I go into the River Oaks area and I go to Central Market, Central Market got some way better quality stuff versus if I go to Joe V's. It's the same company, but it's a different quality of produce. And it just trickles down. They deliver first, and they go through all the stuff, and then they give this part to Central Market. They give this to HEB. That's in the rich area. Then the HEB in the middle class area, they get a certain level. And then the poor people get the lower level. Is it good? No, but here's my thing. If we stop going to those spots and we went to the other spots, they would either lift up their thing or they would lose money. Yeah. But it's now we don't have the discipline.
Or the discipline. Yep.
You don't have the discipline to say no. Hence why even customer service sucks now. Yeah. Because they're like, you're gonna get it anyway. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Right. You really don't hear that the customer's always right thing. That's gone. Like you said, you're gonna get it, you're gonna tap into it regardless. Chef, here's a question that I have, and I always like asking this question. What is one of your favorite meals that you enjoy preparing? Like, what is something that, and I know you're all over the game, so you got to pick one though. You can't, don't give me a lot, just give me your favorite one that you enjoy preparing.
Good question, Larry.
No, so that's a double-edged sword for me, really. And honestly, really, if you ask me my favorite thing to eat, to prepare anything with eggs, really? Again, I'm from Louisiana, so majority of the time, I always got eggs. Yeah. And I always got rice made. And I may chop up some green onions and some, some steamed broccoli or something like that and throw that in with a little soy sauce, and that's what I eat.
Okay. You can't go wrong with that. That's definitely a go-to. Even with eggs being $12, as they say nowadays, you can't go wrong with that.
No, but check this out, because this is something that I want to make sure we, and I want to thank you for your time. Larry and I joke every week about how busy Thursdays are for everybody who own a company, but yet we ask people to carve some time out their schedule on Thursdays. So
right.
So much from that standpoint. Right. But I wanted to ask you, because so many members of our audience are real estate brokers, realtors, lenders, everybody that works in the real estate space, but most importantly, entrepreneurs and business owners.
Okay.
And with the kind of scheduling the hours that we keep, sometimes the hustle or the bustle, we end up eating way more fast food than we even consciously want to admit. And so many times we don't have the opportunity to have healthy food choices because, I didn't have time to stop. I was ripping and running. So, Chef, talk about your meal prep services, your catering services, so that you can take all the guesswork and excuses so that we don't got to run around eating Whataburger and whatnot. We can already have that lunch prepared for us in advance and already have it in the car with us.
Here's what I'll say about that, and this might shoot myself in the foot, but that's a choice.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I could sit here and I can give y'all all my information, and a lot of times people will think of one meal and be like, oh, that's expensive. But then my question to them is, how many times do you make them stops in the day at the corner store to grab a bag of chips and a Monster drink?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How many times do you stop by the fast food place? And you also got to remember, y'all sitting down majority of the time. You driving, you sitting down. Then you might get to the spot, you walk around. Then if you didn't put out cookies for your clients, now you grabbing a cookie. I know how it roll. You know what I'm saying? I know how it roll. It's a soda in the refrigerator. You grab that, drink that. You know, you got to think about all the bad intake you take. So you need to try to minimize that as much as possible. So whether you come to me or you go to someone else, it doesn't matter at this point. What matters is your health and putting that first. You're going out and you're getting these houses and you're selling these houses so that you can have a better living. But if you're not taking care of yourself, then what good is that?
That's right.
I see my man right here. He walking on the treadmill right now. He been doing it the whole time. Like he handling two things at one time. So that let me know that, you know, he know what's right and, you know, what's wrong and things like that, you know?
Yeah.
So anybody can reach out to me. I'll give you my telephone number. It's 281-660-4451. If you get in contact with me, text me first. If you're a person that likes to talk on the phone, it's cool, it's fine. Like, you know, I can't go like hours with you, but you know, we can get on the phone and we can talk.
Yeah, that's right. Chef, also give them your website and social media handle and things like that as well, so that they can stay.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna do that. Yeah. So my website, I'm getting ready to get it worked on. So it's gonna be up for like maybe 2 or 3 more days, and I'm cutting it down. But that's myfreshcuisine.com. And you can just go on there if you want to send me a message through there. I always just give people my telephone number because that's the easiest way to get me. It's my business number, and you know I can get back to you on time. Also, you can even DM me if you want to on eatfreshcuisine.com. You know, that's the IG. So it's not even .com, it's Eat Fresh Cuisine. So you can hit me on there and I'll get back to you. I provide meal prep. I provide catering. I do weddings. Everything's top notch. I don't cut corners on food. Everything is good. I'm honest. That's one thing I'm real, you know, like, I guess you would call it conceited about because I'm so knowledgeable. You know, if you you about to take a test and you walk in with your head high and everybody like, why you all happy? Because you like, bro, because I studied. Like I know
everything about to take place. Ain't no surprise.
You ask me anything and like I'm good. Like I got you. You know, and that's where I am. And
you're not new to it. You've done it before. So you just you know what I'm saying? You done add it to the playbook and then just do it better each and every time. Yep.
Right. And even if, you know, I've had customers now that go with me for the longest and they not even taking medication anymore for like high blood pressure and things like that because of the fact that they're eating the right things. So it's based off trust. You know, even if you go with a meal prep company, make sure you know where they're getting their food from. You know, I'm one of those people, you can ask me if you want to know where it comes from, you know, but I will say don't get in contact with me for no discounts, no my fee is my fee.
Yeah.
I'm not expensive. I'm really not expensive. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I'm really not expensive. And I really don't do this. I do this for the money, but I don't do this for the money, if that makes sense to y'all. Like I really live a great life, and I'm more about making sure it makes me happy when people eat my food and they're like, oh wow, okay, yeah, I'm on to something. So yeah.
I want to give you your flowers here publicly, Chef, because not only are you an experienced culinary professional, you have your television background in front of the camera and behind,
right?
But you also network on a
Yeah.
business perspective.
Right.
You're in business rooms, you're in those networking areas, shaking
Right.
hands, meeting people. So for members of our audience who are in the city of Houston, who may be a business owner, will there be any events that you'll be attending in the near future? When will there be an opportunity presented to our audience to come and meet and interact with Chef Donnell in person?
I am working like right now, and I spoke off air, but I'm working on plans to open up a restaurant, probably be in the next 1 to 2 years. I just, when you're doing those types of things, you got to take your time and make sure that you're moving in the right direction. Businesses, you always want to, I tell everybody all the time, if it's not working one way, reinvent yourself.
That's right.
You have to. And so I'm working on that right now. I'm very accessible. I'm very, very accessible. If anyone needs, even if people want a class on how to shop in the grocery store, I do those.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I have people that hit me up because we're all in the grocery store, but a lot of us don't know how to shop in the grocery store.
That's right.
That's so real.
I've had so many people to me, they're like, I wish I could shop like that. And I'm like, why can't you? Like, I'm in here, and I'm doing it. So why can't you? So yeah, so I've gotten, clientele from that manner of them just seeing me do it. And I'm like, well, hey, book me for this shopping experience. We'll go around, we'll look at everything. I'll show you how to shop. I'll show you how to, a quick thing for y'all.
Wow.
Go to HEB, right? So they have these slabs of salmon about this big on a platter already for you, right? It's probably around like $13, $14 per pound. If you walked up to the counter where the fish guys are, and you got them to cut you a piece and even cut it and skin it for you, it would be $11, $12 a pound.
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know. Yeah.
Go grab that big slab and then go home and try to figure out how we gonna do it when they'll do it for you right there, and that's free of charge.
Yeah.
That's strong, Chef, man. One last question for you, man, because you've been so generous with your time. When you think of your upbringing as a young man in Louisiana or when you were in LA, were there any members of your family that were business owners, entrepreneurs, that when you reflect, you can credit them for being an influence from that standpoint? When you think back, who are those people that helped to motivate and inspire Chef Donnell?
So my great-grandfather inspired me to cook because all the men in my family were cooks. Wow. The women could cook, but the men in my family would cook.
They can cook. Okay.
My grandfather, my great-grandfather, actually, he was a boiler technician. So he would leave every day with those big cast iron pots. He would leave with one every day and it was empty. When he was on his way back, he would call my grandmother from the shipyard and tell her to put some rice on, which was probably already on anyway, but he'd tell her that. And when he showed up, he had a pot full of, it would be something in there. Maybe some rabbit, maybe some cow tongue. I mean, it could be anything in there, and it was good. We ate, So him on that level, as far as being an entrepreneur, my mom.
Word.
My mom, pretty much my whole entire life, I've known my mom that she's been an entrepreneur. Like, she's always like done it and put her foot in it and ran with it, and she's always been what I consider successful, because the word success is really subjective to the individual. But I feel like if you can live a good life, you get things that you want, and you take care of your family well, that's successful to me. And you give your kids tools to be able to operate in life as in general. That's success to me. And so that's what she did, and she's still doing that, which is crazy, because my mom's like 70 now and she still does that, so, and she loves it, she enjoys it. So that's the reason why she don't have to do it, but she enjoys it and she loves it. And so So I would say is those two people that really molded me into basically betting on myself.
Yeah.
Now I say that also to say that there's nothing against people who go, and I call it the safe life. That's the ones who go clock into a job and do what they need to do. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I hate when people I hate when entrepreneurs make it like that's a bad thing.
Right. I agree.
Because it's not, it's not, it's really not. It's just, we were willing to take sacrifices, and which they're sacrificing their time, but we wasn't willing to sacrifice our time. We wanted our time to be,
dictated by us.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I'm able to do this and not have to worry about after I get I got to clock back in, because I don't have to do any of that. I can say if someone wants to hire me and I say I don't want to do it, I don't have to do it.
That's right.
And I won't get fired for it. You know what I'm saying? You want to talk to my manager? Okay, hold on 1 second. Hello, how you doing? So that's that. And I want to say one last thing, and this, if anyone is on here, we have to stop being so personal about business. One of my number one things is business is never personal. It's never personal. If you're taking it personally, then you need to reevaluate yourself, and that's on either side.
That's right.
If you're selling a home and the person don't want to buy the home, and you taking it personally, like, it's not personal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know what that person has going on, or maybe they thought they really could afford the house, but then once they showed up and you start showing them all this stuff, and you're like, oh wait, I really can't afford that. You can't be mad at them because they quote unquote wasted your time. Like, maybe they really thought that they could afford it. You know what I'm saying? And just on the same other side, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not personal. Yeah. Don't take it personal. Just, if it don't work out, it didn't work out. Keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? Like, God always got something next better for you.
That's right.
And that's why I try to tell people, like, and all you entrepreneurs out there, especially in the culinary world, please get back to the old school way of giving people what they pay for.
Yeah.
Like, we got to get out of this mentality, this dope dealer mentality of feeling like we got to get it all on one plate. Like, it ain't gonna happen like that. Like, that's not how it works. Yeah, that's not how the world works. That's not how, you got these restaurants been open for years before they see a return.
Wow.
So that's just a few, you know what I'm saying, things that I've learned and I've watched and I've seen, in the business world as a whole, and I'm pretty sure y'all seen it too. And tell people stop using their business like a personal credit card or a personal.
Listen, we can go all day with all of the different challenges. You right, like everything.
You gotta separate the two.
You got to learn how to fill in the blanks without making everything feel personal when doing this, especially when you're supposed to be leading with love and active service when it comes to what it is that you do. That's how you get the real strong return on, your business itself. So you cannot take it personal. And it's like you said, and I have that conversation with realtors all the time. Like, people just never know. You're educating and giving people the understanding of the process, and then it may hit like a brick wall. Like, wait a minute, this ain't what I saw on HGTV. They made it seem like it was boom, 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 and it's really like a whole stretched out process. And that goes in the culinary field, the loan side, the mortgage side, just like being an entrepreneur itself. Like, people are learning as you're teaching and coaching them as they do business with you in some cases. So you have got to just be ready when that if they hit a wall or if they hit something that they don't understand, right? Like, either be very good at clarifying it or understand if they got to take a step back because they didn't put all of their they didn't have all their eggs in the, well, they didn't take all of the right steps to make it add up for them.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Oh, man,
Chef, man, thank you so much for your time, your kindness. We appreciate you so much, man. And as you got things that go on and take place in your business, please keep us updated. You have a seat here with us at any time. And just as you grow, we want to grow with you. So let us know. We'll reshare, we'll post, show up for some events and all of that, man. So just keep us posted.
Appreciate y'all, brothers. Appreciate y'all.
No, appreciate you, King, man. Look, we're going to reach out to you, man, because we're going to take you up on some of that meal prep, catering, all those things, man. We look forward to having a long-lasting relationship from that standpoint.
I got y'all, man. Got y'all.
Appreciate you, my dude, man. It's been an honor and a pleasure, man. We look forward to speaking with you again in the future.
Yes, most definitely. Y'all be blessed now.
Appreciate you. Be blessed as well.
All right, bye.
Doses. Come on, man. Stop it, Larry.
Come on, man.
Hey, look, man. This is one of those, man.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
First things first, man. I want everybody in the audience, man. We had a great time with the interview, but most importantly, man, let's take heed to Chef Donnell's advice. Let's eat healthy. Let's go out of our way. Let's be intentional about what we're putting into our body.
That's
See,
right.
Mr. Fitness himself, LarryWBrooks, you feel me? I'm sure he concurs on a myriad of levels.
100%.
But what did you take from this interview, Mr. Brooks, man, that's going to stick with you?
You know, I think that the most important thing about it is what it is that you put inside of your body. And me being a person that's never really been a grocery shopper, I think that one of the things that really stands out that Chef offered is you being able to purchase some of his time and go and actually learn how to grocery shop, I remember my grandmother as a child, you know, squeezing oranges or squeezing potatoes and understanding what they're looking for. But to have somebody that has insight, it would definitely help people out. And I am definitely a believer that what you put in your body is the results that you get that come out of it. So, you know, for me, I do believe in making sure that I take care of this machine of mine, because I don't want to be putting my finances in my 60s in my body, having to visit the doctor, having prescription medication. So it's very important that I take care of this this vessel right now.
Hey, man, look, great advice. As always.
How about yourself?
Man. Oh, no, look, to this interview was top notch, man. One of the things that resonated with me was how, regardless of your financial situation, regardless of where it is that you stay, you can always go out, go to those nicer neighborhoods. And when he talked about going to those nicer areas for the grocery stores and stuff, Larry,
yeah,
it took me back to when I was a young dude and my friend in the fancy neighborhood, so he can open our eyes up to how other people live.
Yeah,
I thought about that because what Chef was talking about was we can open our eyes up to see how other people eat. To your earlier point, man, what we put into our body is paramount and super duper important. So I want to take this time to thank Chef Donnell again. Yep. Big, huge shout out to you, Mr. Brooks, for having this fine gentleman commit to sitting in with us. 100%. What you got going on this weekend, brother?
Nothing. Work.
Hey, look, ain't nothing wrong with that. On behalf of myself, Ric Davis, and the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. LarryWBrooks, we want to thank everyone in the audience. Like, subscribe, share this episode, become a part of the movement. You can follow Mr. Brooks at Texas Real Estate King on Instagram. You can follow me at Prime Real Estate Rick on Instagram. Until next Thursday in the noon hour, everyone in the Prime Real Estate Network audience, please be safe and be blessed.